and a half, and the farthest we've gotten is Barrett. I'm gonna keep going at this, by the way. If I have to stay up stupidly late, I'll do it. If I don't get this tonight, there's a good chance I'm not getting it at all. The timing of everything. Yep, that's totally what I wanted to happen. Landing on turtles is not physically possible. Yes, please. Continue to be a piece of shit level, like you always are. That should have hit me, I feel. I've been further away from that turtle and gotten hit, so that makes no sense to me. I'm not even know if this... Imagine hugging the wall and not getting a fucking boost like you're supposed to. Fucking imagine. Yep. Thanks for the raid, Ether. How was your stream? Stream well, shook off a lot of dust. Nice. Were you playing Spyro again? How's the game treating me? Well, I've been going for an hour and a half, and the furthest I've gotten is Barrett. Specifically, the first section of Barrett, so, not very good. It's going better now, but, like, something stupid just keeps happening. But, like, the first 40 minutes or so were a complete fucking train wreck. It was actually probably the best run so far. which is sad because it dies in Crash Dash. Yes! Please. Tell me how I got hit by that turtle that I slid into. You know, the turtle that you're supposed to slide into. Like, that's actually how its mechanic works, is you slide into it and it burrows into its shell. Please tell me how sliding that turtle hurt me. Go within 8 seconds of repeat over a week. Nice. Were you doing any or 120? If we're not playing for a week, that's pretty good, especially for Spyro. I feel like it's really easy to rust in Spyro just because of all the little things that cost a lot of time if you mess them up. Oh yeah, I forgot it's MBS. Let's put that any now. 100% haven't touched 120 in quite a time. I was thinking about which Spyro I want to go back to, whether I want to go to like OG 120. Yep, that's, I guess that makes sense. I thought I had a mask. It's like, I don't know which one I'd rather go back to. Probably SRT, just because it's so underdeveloped compared to OG. Like, OG is like super developed, and in that way, it's kind of interesting because I know what's possible and I know what I can do. But at the same time, like, SRT's 120 leaves a lot to be discovered, I feel. And like, with how frustrated I have been getting at this game, I don't know if I'd want to play OG Spyro 1 because it is also an incredibly frustrating game. You'd wait until SRT comes to PC. I mean, by the time it lines up where I would be doing SRT runs again, it will probably be on PC. Because for the next few months, aside from like the 1545 and this, assuming I don't 120 by the end of this week, or I don't sub 120 by the end of this week, I'll probably be doing this and Nitro Fueled, so. Like, I'd be willing to do it on PS4 and then like switch over to PC. It's just a matter of other things on my plate. Yeah, 120 has a ton of undiscovered potential. No one is running it. Yeah. I feel like Spyro 120 is falling into the way that like Crash 2 NST was, where like people just aren't running it because at first glance it's really similar to the original but not as good. So people just gravitated to the other games in SRT or like other categories, and then like it just takes one person to like push it. This is officially the farthest I've gotten. That checkpoint. That being said, this run is still like not terrible, so. If I leave Warp 1 and my sum of best is still in 115, then that's like acceptable. Or not my sum of best, my best possible. Play with my heart more, why don't you? I feel like that shouldn't have worked. Your pound cable comes in tomorrow, so we get ready for Nitro Fueled. Yeah, I pre-ordered both the PS4 and Switch versions of Nitro Fueled last night. Or not last night, like last hour or so. Yeah, and like cutting down on the SRT loads will probably be huge. I feel like that's just a deterrent for a lot of people, that the loads just suck so much. Like, the fact that I have an SSD with a PS4 Pro and the loads are still pretty awful sometimes is, like, telling about the loads in that game. Because, like, SSD loads on PS4 Pro and NST pre-patch, like, were actually pretty nice. Like, they weren't amazing, but they were, like, 9 to 10 seconds consistently. Yeah, there's a lot of people I know who are just like the loads are too bad. Honestly, the loads patch is probably like the best thing that happened to NSD. Like even like now you play on like PS4 and it's like 3-second loads at best or at worst. You know, if you want to play Classic or Nitro Fueled eventually when you get your copy. I'll probably do Nitro Fueled. That sounds like the more interesting one. Unless there's like major differences aside from like you can't change your character in Classic. Can you jump next time? Love waiting on shit. I mean, I'm gonna end up playing the game like a shit ton in general, just because I'm gonna have it on 2 systems. I'm gonna have to unlock everything on 2 systems. Get a crash dashboard bobblehead. The foam finger guy. But now it's bobbleheads. I just ordered them on the like Nintendo and PlayStation stores. Oh, that was terrifying. Speedruns have been or scary. Yeah, they can be. Like, it's definitely not an easy level. I actually think Snowbiz is one of the harder levels in the game, but it's also one of my favorite levels, so like it never really bothers me. But you can lose a lot of time here, so yeah, it is pretty scary. And hello as well. Oh wow. Video game. Honestly, that bonus is like the scariest part about the level. I think it's like scarier than the red jump path. Maybe for Speedrun 100% you find other categories for this game to be boring. I like game over abuse, which is a very unpopular opinion. No-go is kind of boring. I don't hate the category. Like, I can enjoy it, but I definitely don't think it's as interesting as Go or Hundo. I do agree that Hundo is the most interesting category. Generally tends to be the consensus among runners is that Hundo is the best category. Which is also just generally a thing I feel with most Crash games, is that the completion categories are more interesting. That doesn't really matter. This. Just barely made it. Your copy of Jak 2 is working now. It's temporary until you can order a copy from GameStop. Nice. I'm not even sure if there's anything in this game that terrifies me anymore. Because I've been on so many good paced runs that, like, nothing really scares me. There's, like, a couple things that make me nervous, I guess, but nothing's like, oh my god, this level. Or, like, this part. Like, the most nerve-wracking ones are probably, like, I actually have a lot of trouble with the end of Totally Fly. Piston, it's just scary because it's super unforgiving to die in, I guess. And then Ruination's always terrifying. Oh, wait. Okay, the one level I'm probably actually terrified of is Spaced Out. Pack Attack's kind of unnerving just because with Packless you can crash in it, but if I ever crash in Packless, it's completely my fault, so. Yo, Red Lionhead. Just a good luck. Will I do the box dupe glitch and digging it? Probably not. I haven't practiced it for digging it. Thanks for the bits, man. I don't think there's any active runner who actually goes for the box dupe and digging it just because it's RNG. I think the only person who would have a reason to go for it is Boom Fan. This is not bueno. As long as I hit the bonus platform at like 45 or like whatever. If the timer disappears at 42, I should be safe. If I remember correctly, because I used to be a lot worse at this and still got it. Alright, we should be good. Oh, the other guard crashed too. Speedrun went for that trick. Yeah, Mr. Bean definitely went for it a lot. Or at least all the time. By the time I started running the game, like, actively, I think most of the old guard was, like, inactive. And I think it just eventually became, like, the time, it's like, it does save a fair bit of time, but it's usually not enough to make it worth it unless you're at, like, the tip-top level. And the only person who's at that level is Boom Fan. Because, like, right now there's top level and then there's Boom Fan. Okay. If Boomfan wants to improve his time, it would be something to implement. Yeah, even then though, I don't know if his time is at the point where he needs to implement it. Because, like, even his PB has, like, a really huge death in Spaced Out, and, like, the box dupe would probably save, like, an equivalent to that time. And then, like, it's got errors as well. Like, eventually, I think if he pushes it far enough, it would have to be implemented, but I don't know if it's necessarily there yet. Yeah, at my level, I don't think it's correct to go for it just because it's RNG. And it's like the potential to kill so many runs in digging it just by chance. It'd be better just like do it normally. There are 2 levels you can do the boxing. There's technically like several levels you can do the box glitch in. It's just only useful in cold hard and digging it. I think you can do it in behaving, but there's absolutely no reason to do so. And then I think in knife fight it's also possible, but again, no reason to do so. I think there's a handful of levels in Crash 3 where you can do it, but it's at no point in that game useful. Yep, that's totally what I wanted. I don't think anybody's touching Boomfan anytime soon. Like, people are improving and getting close to him, but nobody's really quite at his level yet. And it's telling that his run has stood as record by several minutes, or like a few minutes, for I think 2 years now. 2.5 maybe, actually. I think he got it in like April 17. And at the end of the day, if someone implements it and takes record from Boomfan, it's good on them. Who has the record doesn't really matter so much as the record existing. And it's like the thing alone won't let people get record over Boomfan. The fact of the matter is that his movement's just like so much better than everyone else's. This game sucks. This is just like yesterday where I had a run that was really good up until Totally Bear. Boomfan's consistency is also like absurd. That man gets 114s on D-rusts. I can't even get 114 on a God run. Like, my theoretical God run at my skill level would be a 115. Which is like good, but not like that. Like, Boomfan's D-rusts are better than my like peak play. It just speaks levels of how good he is at this game. He speedruns in the game using SNES controller. Yeah, man, like, you can make any controller work, I feel. I mean, Koji speedran with a controller that the analog worked in Crash 1 and it was mapped to D-pad. Which is like, honestly, all things considered, inferior to D-pad or like way less consistent, but Koji just made it work because Koji was a monster. Miss a crate, wrong way slide. This game is a game. Oh, okay. The return zigzag was definitely really bad. Love Road to Ruin. They've just got smart and patched this level in the remakes. No, they didn't. Everything that is possible in the OG version of Road to Ruin is possible in NST. You just have to do it differently. But both skips still exist. I used to speedrun the NST version of this also. So it's one of the things that actually, like, I'm pretty sure they tried to patch it out and then they didn't. Like, they didn't succeed. That glitch jump, like the jump for the gem, is actually like, when you're first learning the game, it feels like it's extremely difficult. But like, as you get better and just learn like how to properly extend the slide and stuff, it's actually not too terrible. So like, I'm not even sure if I would consider it the hardest jump. back when it was first being implemented, I could see it being considered the hardest jump, but I think there's probably harder things in the game now. It might be the hardest jump just because there's not a lot of crazy jumps in the game, I feel. But I think there's stuff that's way harder than it. Remember getting really hyped when Beans would get those jumps. Yeah, Beans 120 was actually the run that inspired me to like pick the game up, and it was like get me into speedrunning. And I remember like at the time, I guess the jump was considered like super difficult. But, like people just learned how to be better at it, so now it's not considered too bad anymore. Honestly, I feel like the key to it is just like extending the slide enough where you get a huge boot, like head start in the jump, but not so much that you like fall. And it's really just like a timing thing. But when you like get down to the core of it, it's not too terrible. It's funny how many runners have seen those Bean runs. Yeah, I feel like Bean's run brought a lot of people into the game, probably. Shame they don't do runs anymore. I mean, they're both really well known for Mario Kart, and they do like runs of that. Or like time trials or whatever. So I think they're both satisfied with where they are. And I think they both took Crash 2 as far as they wanted to. That almost didn't work. Okay. Only real blemish so far has been totally bare. So, what made Beans run on YouTube so good was because of the commentary. Yeah, definitely. Like, it was so easy to learn, like, a lot of the stuff about the game just because he would explain everything. That might be something to consider for the future. If I'm ever a top runner in the game again, it's just like commentate the run. Jumped too early for that also. Bare levels with a Crash 3 plane. Yeah. Cog Monkey, please release that mod. It will make these levels infinitely better. I definitely think more effort should be put in to make, like, learning the runs more accessible. Like, with Crash, at least it has the benefit that the games, by their linearity, are fairly straightforward to, like, pick up, but a lot of the deeper stuff you wouldn't figure out just by watching runs. Which is why I never really agreed with, like, the notion of, like, how do I get better at this game, watch world record. I'm like, I don't know about that. Yeah, Ted, you definitely put in a lot of work for resources in Crash 1. And I wish I had the motivation to do that for NST, because there's so many ideas I have for resources, and I just never go through with them. Which I really should do. It's just hard to be motivated sometimes, given my mental state. CTTR is 43 viewers. People like that game for some reason. Still want to make like an NST basics thing like you did. I was really afraid that wasn't going to work. It was fucking there. Just see more speedruns on YouTube where the commentary is fun and it's just like what you do with a DVD. Yeah. Thing is, I think it's easier when you like record the video separately from the stream, which I'm not entirely sure how to do that. I know like in the past when people used Amarek it was really easy, but I don't know if there's a way to like separate the recordings now. I think that's what makes like marathon runs like GDQ ones so good also, is that usually there's a lot of in-depth explanation going on. Video game. This is how tiny gonna be, huh? Can work with that. It's been really kind in giving me the center recently, and I'm okay with that. Can I not get a Ricky bounce that completely ruins this warp room again? That was the most tilting thing about the last run last night, is that it was like, I think a high 116 pace going into this warp room, and then one Ricky bounce killed the entire run because it snowballed into a 3-minute time loss. That was the most tilting shit in a long time. It's like, I try not to be attached to runs, but fucking hell, I was attached to that run. That was scary. Okay. I'll use a second program for recording. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure there's a way I could figure out how to do it, but at least with this game, I'm probably not the person to do it. Considering out of the active Crash 2 runners, I'm probably the lowest level. A PC with enough power to do it. Oh, my PC can almost assuredly do it. It's more just like, I feel like someone who's at like a higher level should be the one to do it. Because like people would be more interested in watching like a top run than one that's like, I would argue I'm at mid-level. Mid to like mid-high level is where I would say I am in this game. At least in the case of Hundo. In the case of No-Go and Go, I would argue I'm high level, but some people wouldn't see it the same way. Of course, those are the people who think that 40 is free in No-Go, so you know. Gonna be a top runner one of these days, but not today. It's possible if you put the time and effort into it. Funny thing is, I never really set out to be a top runner at this game. I just set out to like improve at it and see how far I could go. Funny thing is that even if I'm not like a top, that's completely my fault, whatever. I'll just take the time loss. It's not the biggest deal. I was hoping I'd get through that. Oh, I'm waiting on everything. Including this fucker. It's crazy how it took Bean's second run that he put on YouTube for people to realize that invincibility here was probably worth it. Having fun is the easiest way to get good at speed. Yeah, I mean, if you don't enjoy it, it's not worth doing, and you probably won't improve at a rate you would like. Case in point, I'm doing a lot better tonight after I mellowed out, because I was really angry at the beginning of the stream. I will have none of your shit today hanging out. I saw you try. I saw you try, but fuck that. I am doing this bonus properly for once. I love how I still save time, like what the fuck. It's actually kind of funny how that, like, the mask there, it feels like it saves way more time, the invincibility in there. I only lost like 10 seconds. That's why I like don't freak out about losing that usually, unless it's like in No-Go, because in No-Go I'm at the level where it's like actually pretty big. But it's like there's way worse time losses for me to like get torn up about that one. I don't think I've ever been killed by that mushroom. That was terrifying. Nice glitch alone. not gonna fucking do the normal thing here, because I just don't feel like dying, as I always do. Okay. You ever been bad? 'Cause I have. No, fuck it. It's close enough. Oh, that was gross. Always that one of those fences, dude. Always one of them. Why are those the only two fences that are like complete aids? Yep. Hate this game sometimes. Reminder that the placements of those bombs is RNG. Wow, fucking amazing scenery. Nice wrong way slide. What a load of horse shit, dude. The thing is that even if it's a PB, if it's a 119, I'm not going to be happy. To the point that I almost don't even want to keep it. Like, the fact that I've been on 118 pace runs, 117 pace runs. Hell, entering 104, I've been on 116 pace runs, and I can't fucking do it. Like, if I were to finish this with a 118, I'd be satisfied. It was like, yeah, I could go for 117, but I could also just, like, sit on that 118 for the rest of my life and say, yeah, that was pretty good. I can't do that with a fucking 119. I'll continue looking at it and being like, that could have been so much more. Can we hit the TNT this time? Thank you. That's fine, because I'm about to die anyway. Nice slide, Crash. I love this game. I love when you hit R1 and the game's just like, I don't know what that does. You ever considered like hitting checkpoints when they're right next to you? Yeah, wanting to be done. Like I said earlier, I don't know if it was before or after you came into the stream either. Like, I've run this game for 4 years. I've already pushed myself way harder than I thought I could. Because like this is the first game I ever speedran, so I didn't know if I had it in me. So it's like I am like happy with where I've gone, but I want a time where I can just look at that and say I could never come back to this and I would be satisfied. I feel like this run is not going to be it. Depending on how Warp 5 goes, it might be a run where say I'm satisfied enough to like never touch it again, or never touch it for a while. But I don't know if this is the run where I'm going to say I'm satisfied completely. Alright, I'm almost certain this is not the run where I'm going to say I'm satisfied completely. Everything in their power to kill me. Yeah, I get you, Ether. I appreciate it. The other thing is I don't want this game to go the way NST2 went for me, where like, even though at a time I had all 3 records in NST2, that was at a time where it was still on PS4 only, so like, if it had never left PS4, I probably would have been satisfied with where it ended. And like, even if other people had passed me, I would have been like, I'm satisfied with where I was. But then PC happened, and like, it got pushed so much further than I had already done, and I feel like I was fully capable of catching up, but the game was so frustrating to me at that point that I just didn't enjoy it. And at that point it was like I wasn't satisfied with where I left it, but now I have no desire to go back to it ever again. Or like, I try going back to NST2, at least 102, and I just don't want to anymore. But I know that there's so much more I could do with it, but I just hate playing it. I don't want Crash 2 OG to be like that also. Alright. I'm not going for the fast last phase, because that would be asinine. And my sob doesn't even have it anyway, so. Okay. It's the only thing I wanted. One and one, that's really bad. Okay, 4 and 3. Can work with that. I don't know, at least with the case in NST2, the only thing in NST2 where I feel like, to me, it's unfinished business is 102. Like, I couldn't give a rat's ass about any percent or 100% anymore.
Will be very displeased with your insistence. Prepare to suffer his wrath.
Alright. Warp 5. I'm also not comparing the right thing, I'm comparing to averages. Which actually means that that hanging out thing might have actually been way worse than I thought it was. I hit spin. Guess we're playing bitch mode piston it. Yeah, I'm not sliding that. I have dropped my jumps so many times there, I'm just not fucking risking it. Not with no mask. Why are you doing this to me? That's basically how I feel, Ted. That is 100% how I feel about what just happened. Like, why the fuck? Unless I have the most godly rest up warp 5, I don't see 118 happening, sadly. Really playing this game? Funny thing is that probably just made this lineup better. I don't think it's not a huge death, honestly. Sure. No way. Wow, my spaced out sucks. If I don't get packless, this isn't the 118. Like, that will end it. Dream is dead. It's whatever. It can still be 119. I am so not used to doing this level on jetpack, by the way. Last time I had a 119 pace, it died here. That was semi-intentional, by the way. I would rather keep this mask for Rocket than have the death abuse and fast start. And that made breaking that box setup a lot easier.
Hello there.
Yo, Franco, thanks for the host. Really? Of all the enemies to get hit by, the one I was already past? Alright, Rocket. Thanks for the good luck. Oh, I guess. Hinges on Rocket and Cortex. Hello, friend. Alright. 14 seconds to save in Cortex. You fucking shithead. I guess. I guess, dude. Funny thing is I didn't even lose time in Cortex, like, to my PB.
What happened to Cortex? And what about the Cortex Vortex? It's still up there.
Puts me up 2 spots above Smartman. I wish I could say I was happy with that. I wish I could say I was satisfied. I wish I could say that after 4 years, I could put this game down and finally play something else. I wish I could say all of that. But that's not how I feel. I don't actually really feel that happy with that PB. It's like relieving. I got sub 120 finally. I've been on that possibility for like, what, half a year now? But I've also been on fucking... I've been on 117 paces for that entire time frame also. Like, it's actually really upsetting that I can't do this. And yeah, I am gonna put it down for now because I'm sick of this game. Like, I'm so sick of this game right now that I wish that was the run that made me stop for good. I wish that was like the 117, the 116, hell, even the low 118. That would have made me probably stop for good. But it wasn't. So I know that eventually I'm gonna come back to this and I'm still gonna suffer through it. But for now, I guess this will do. This will do for now.